everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. I have a card for you today, and I'm going to call it in case you've missed it. I've pulled together several elements. One, if you're watching this the day that the video posts, it's the last day that you can get free shipping. So I wanted to make sure that everything, I think that the old olive cardstock might be not available at the moment. It's coming back in, but I know a lot of you have it and you can use other colors. But everything else on the card when I made the card is at least in stock. So if you spend $75 or above, today, I think it is the 11th, shipping is free. So as high as you want to go with that. So I thought I would pull out some things that I hadn't used that you might not have noticed. I think that's probably why they're still in stock, is because people don't see them, right? So let's get going on the card. The first thing I'm going to use on this card is a Walk in the Forest designer series paper. So it's right here when you first open the catalog, and it doesn't really have its own page because you feel like you haven't even got to the catalog yet. So I can see where people might not even notice that it's here. And it's a bear paper. We have 2 bear papers. It's early. My nephew's coming over this afternoon, and I have lots of stuff I have to film. So my cats are still in their morning time. So you might hear them as they run around the house. But it does coordinate with our bear punch as well. So we have 2 papers that coordinate with the bear punch. This one is our Making a Difference paper. So in the US, for every packet that you buy, $3 will go to Toys for Tots. So the charities are different in different countries, in different Stampin' Up! Markets. So we're going to use this. Then we are going to use, in fact, I couldn't even find it. I knew it was in here because I'd ordered it. It's on page 13. I looked it up. We are going to use the tiny Christmas tree die. I did use it way back at the beginning, and I'm going to probably use it again a couple more times in the next couple of weeks. But it's a full page. It is the full sheet, not page, of your cardstock. So it's super fun. Lots of things you can do with it, and I have used it once. So we're going to use that. Then we are going to use the sticker paper that is an online exclusive. So everybody that's in my Oh Holy Night class is getting a lot of gold. So because I bought so many packets to get that up, I now have a lot of silver. But it's self-adhesive, so we're going to use that. And then the ribbon we are going to use is the iridescent ribbon, and it is in this catalog, and it is currently available, and it's beautiful. So let's get going on the card. I will show you the paper because it's hard to see up there in the front of the catalog like that. So the paper is really pretty. I know that it, because it has bears on it, people, if bears aren't your thing, or you might think it's too cartoony, but it's not at all. It's very pretty paper. It's also a very good winter paper. If you scrapbook, or if you go skiing and you have ski pictures that you want to do. So you can see that it's not all bears. The sheet I'm using doesn't have bears on it. But then if you want to make cards for somebody who does love bears, or your kids or something, you have that. But look how much fun that is on the other side. Then a lot of the trees go with the dies. You can see that in the coordinating stuff. And there's just trees. And here's the sheet I'm using today. So just Christmas trees. And then that fun stripy pattern on the back. Then I'm going to use Radiant Light. So if you're in Card Club and you added that on, you could use, I'm going to use the sentiment because I needed a Christmas thing when you're not using a stamp set to do your card. So let's make it. Okay, we're going to start with the die, and I am going to show, I sometimes don't roll this through. I used to do it all the time, and then I felt like it just takes up time for my videos, but I know that sometimes there's some of you that aren't familiar with die cutting. And then there's others of you on dies like this. You're like, yeah, I'd really like to see that. So you can see I have a 5 1/4 by, I think it kept getting smaller because it covered up all the Christmas tree paper. I think it's 2 inches. I have found this one works better if you lay it upside down like this, because then you can line it where you're not getting half trees. You don't want both sides to be half trees. And after I did this, then in fact I did cut my other one down. I think this one I've made so it will fit. So just put it on here. So you can see it's lined up. You want to make sure the sticker side is backwards because it does pop a little pattern onto the trees as they pop out. And then it's good for your machine not to ever send anything through speed bump. So you don't ever want anything to go through in a perfect line. So I'm just going to catty corner that and then just make sure it doesn't move. And I did it back and forth because it's cutting through the sticker sheet, it's cutting through the backing sheet, and then it's cutting through glimmer paper, all of which can be, they're not hard to cut through, but because it's 3 layers, you just want to make sure that it cuts it. So when you pick it up, some of the things may fall out. You can see here's my ones from the other card. So you really get a 2-for-1 when you do this. If you're careful, a lot of them I found would stay in my die. Oh, of course, they're not going to this time. So you can see that we have these cut out, and I just went ahead and immediately popped them into here. And you can see it cut fine. So once you get all these popped out, you can save these. We are going to use a couple of them on this card, but then they'd be super fun on little tags. So I know that's why I will revisit this at another point. And then there are a few that are in here, and I just put them over the tray and knocked them straight into the tray. So I didn't have tiny Christmas trees everywhere. I already have dimensional backings everywhere, so don't really need tiny Christmas trees. Although once you pull the backing off of these, then you have the little backings of the Christmas tree. But I didn't create it at this table, so they're not over here. They're over where I created. So let's go with the colors. So you can see there's other colors in this, so you don't have to use the olive. I've pulled out the spruce, the garden green, and the olive. But I thought about using Lost Lagoon. So if you don't have olive, Lost Lagoon would be a good substitution if you want 3 greens. We're going to use the flip side of this, and it has balmy blue on it. So I went with the 3 colors that are on this piece of paper, but it does have the balmy blue. So if you want to make this card as is and you don't have any old olive, then just get balmy blue or Lost Lagoon. You could even probably get, oh, I said spruce. This is peacock. Spruce I thought was a little too bright for it. Here, I'll let you see. I think it would work. It's just a little brighter than the trees, but it would be okay for the sentiment. So you have lots of green options. If you have succulent or evergreen from last year, those might work as well. Once things are out, I don't keep them any longer. I don't have space. So I have this little piece here, and I've cut it just a fraction smaller than this because I don't want it to stick out the sides. So with the sticker sheet, you just literally pull the backing off. Pulls off super simple, just like that. So for all of your die cutting needs, this could not get any easier. If you're in VIP, then you know you got the piece to punch. And then just like all of my things, don't press hard because you can see right there it's crooked. I always get things crooked when I'm filming because I'm holding it at an odd angle for me. But as long as you don't press it, you can still move it. And with this, as long as you don't press it hard, and if there's just a little bit sticking out, you could easily trim it. I just want to make sure that all of my trees have a green background. So super easy. Once it's on there, just press it on. And then I wanted my trees to just be a little bit sparkly because it's Christmas. So I just took my Wink of Stella. And I didn't color the whole thing. If you color the whole thing, they'll be sparkly and beautiful. But if you do it like this, then it's noticeable sparkle and noticeable not sparkle. These right here are going to kind of get covered up by ribbon, so you don't have to do those as much. So that's super quick. This card could be a tag easily. You could just shorten this and then put it on here and have these 2 go together and then tie the ribbon at the top. So our peacock is the backing. And then we're going to put on our beautiful paper here. Oh, I see red. Never a good sign when I see red. And look how cute. You could do it this way. It's really hard when both sides of the paper are adorable, but you know, I designed the card for trees, so let's go with the trees. And I do get that little bit on there because I love that other side of the paper. So that's why I have it. And again, don't press hard until you know that your stuff's where you want it to be because it's so much easier to move it if you don't press it before. Now let's do our sentiment. So for this, obviously we have the silver theme going here. So I'm going to emboss the words. Again, they're out of Radiant Light, which, you know, an Advent candle wreath and the bear paper. Sometimes if you just look at what you have, you can make fun combinations. So I have this in Versamark. Let's stamp it here. And then I have my silver powder. I haven't used silver in a while. Use lots of clear, lots of gold, some black, some white. I haven't used silver or copper. I used a little bit of copper earlier in the summer when I was looking forward to autumn, and now that autumn's here, I haven't used the copper. Sometimes in this business, you know, like my Halloween nails have bothered me all week when I've been filming my Oh Holy Night class. But I don't want to wear Christmas nails because I don't want to go out in public and have people think that I'm that person. So let's heat set this. Then for this, once I did it, I almost went back and changed it to white because I thought you really can't read those words super well. Now here's the thing, so you can read them better in person. So whoever you give the card to would be able to read them better than you guys can on video. And a lot of times when I'm creating, I want it to look good on camera and I want it to look good later when I take the picture. And if you can't see it, then people would be like, oh, that's a blobby. So then I debated, because with embossing, you should not use your blends. It's not good for the tip of your blends, and it can just simply erase the embossed image, and then it just sticks to the tip of your blends. But we can use our Stampin' Right markers, so I thought I would try that before I went to a completely different color after I had already done this. So I just took the brush tip. Typically, our markers aren't my first choice for coloring. They're great for doodling, especially now with the better tip on the other end. I don't know if I pulled out a new one. I think this is an older one. But you know, they've upgraded the tiny tip, so it's not as tiny. It's much more usable. And I obviously love them to color the ink onto a stamp, which is kind of what they're designed for. But when you color on white paper, they don't blend. And especially now that we're used to being able to have blends, markers aren't my first choice. But for this, when you're doing color on color, it doesn't matter because it's just soaking into there. And with the markers, you can go right over the top of the embossing and it doesn't matter. In fact, it makes it feel very old school to me because this is how I used to do a lot of my cards. Because we didn't have blends. We didn't have a die cut machine, but we had embossing. Let me get this little bit right here. The angle is funny in the light for me to see. So there's that. And then of course it needs a little bit of sparkle to match the tree. So just grab your Stella. But don't go over the words. I'm just gonna kind of get the, again, same as the trees with the Stella. If you want the effect of the glitter to really show, sometimes adding just a bit, because then it plays off of the matte. Then I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to trim out the banner. Okay, so that's trimmed out. You do lose the little dots, but this piece of paper right here, when you make 2 of these cards, then this is 4 by 5 1/4, and then you have another that's 5 1/4, which leaves you this little strip down here at the bottom. So I cut this in half because this was the strip at the bottom of the paper and it was this long, obviously. So I cut it in half, and if I left the beautiful dots on there, then I wasn't going to see the paper. So it's one or the other, and I went with the paper. So this is almost finished. It's a super quick card. So here's our ribbon. I'm just going to wrap it around here. And I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm not going to tie a bow. Because the trees are tiny and this ribbon's a little on the wide side. So if you tie a bow, it's going to kind of overwhelm the little sticker trees that I'm going to add to my tag. This ribbon's fun because it picks up the green in this card. It has a little bit of the iridescence, so you see the pink and the blue. I think it's really pretty. I think it's part of the Merry & Bright Suite, which I have not used yet either, so be watching for that. I have so many things I haven't used yet. And we're very busy. Wedding this weekend, and then camp next weekend and next week, and then we go to New York for my daughter's bridal shower. So trying to get some stuff done ahead of time. And club will have to go out early. So we have this. I'm going to stick it on here, and I want my sentiment to go over here, but I want some of those trees to show, so don't put it all the way to the edge. And again, don't press it down until you know that that's where you want it. which leaves us this tiny little piece here, but it's just the right amount that we need. So I always love if you can make both sides of the paper work on one project. And let's take some dimension. Just going to add this here. Go a little bit towards the top, not center, because we're going to put our little trees here. So grab the little trees that you've created, and you have all these fun. So now I have some dimensional backs to add to my ever-growing collection, and I'm going to have some of these, and here comes the cats. Usually I play with them for a little bit in the morning while I have my coffee, but this morning they got skipped. So I think they're wondering why. So just pull that back off. I find it's easier if you use the tip of your scissors or this, because they're a little bit hard to work with, just because they're tiny. So I'm going to put 3 on here. And it's still going to leave you, look how many, if you do the whole background, you get a ton of these, because this is just the 2-inch strip. But I find if you use, I love this new tip. It's my favorite tip. If you use that and then just kind of flip it over, you can angle it where you want it to go. And before you press it down, just make sure it's straight. And there, whoops. Well, I was trying to show you guys. Here, let me do it this way. Maybe you guys can see it and I can still see. There we go. It's just lovely having these have a sticker back, because to do these with your glue would take a little bit longer. And this will hold them nicely. And see, you can make such a cute little tag. Well, I should have done it the other way. I was trying to get this so you guys could see, and it's made it upside down. And then for the embellishments, I looked at a lot of them. I didn't know if I wanted green. I didn't know if I wanted clear. I didn't know if I wanted to use the enamel effects. As it stands, I just went with something simple. I went with the, I don't think they're called this. I think they're called Festive Pearls. I think this is an old one from when they changed the name, like when we had a pre-order to when, but they're in the annual catalog and they are available and they're perfect year-round. They're just called, they were called Festive. Maybe they were called Festive and they changed it to red and green. I don't know. But the green isn't very green and the red isn't very red. So, I mean, you can obviously use them year round, but I love that there's the gold and the silver. So I just put a bunch on my trees because you have a bunch. You know, my rule of thumb is 5. Start with 5 embellishments. My coffee's still there. I haven't finished my first cup of coffee. Start with 5 and then see if there's room to add more. Because you can't have too many embellishments on a card, and that's where they belong. They don't belong in a drawer or in your box or over in your cute little embellishment assortment place. This is where they go. And even, I'll tell you how many are in this packet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that's 5. We can do 7. I think I did 7 on my other one. Or maybe I didn't even count. With this one, it's more of where you're going to put them, where they're not all close together. One more, because you do want an odd number. On my other one, I had a couple more little tips sticking out there. Can I get this one right there? No, it's too close. Okay, we'll just do this one. So this package of embellishments comes with 200. So if you did 7 times 10 cards, that we would have used 70. If you did 20 cards, you've used 140. So you have to do really 30 cards. That's a lot of cards, and put 7 on, and you'd still have a few left. No, that would be 210. Math, especially this early in the morning, not my thing. But don't be afraid to use your embellishments. Isn't this fun? So, and it's all things I just wanted to make sure that you were aware were in the catalog. So the paper and the die. And this is, for those of you in Card Club, your sentiment from the alternate set. They're all going to look basically the same. Even the trees are about in the same place. I feel like they were really different. Did I do 7? I might have done 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on both. So there you go. Remember, it's free shipping today. You can sign up and join my team, and that's even a better deal. If you sign up and join my team, you get the free stuff or a big discount, and then you can start shopping with your discount all the time, which is 20% where you start, which is always better than free shipping because that's just 11%. Everybody have a great day. Bye.